Hundreds of thousands of men all over the world know his name. They speak it quietly, behind closed doors. An architect. A secret. 3 blows. A grave. There's just one problem. This murder appears in no ancient text. Not in the Bible, not in the historians. So where does the story come from? Jerusalem. Around 1,000 years before our era, King Solomon wants to build a temple. Not a building, the center of a world. 7 years of work, thousands of laborers, cedar from Lebanon, gold, bronze, and, the texts say, one strange rule. On the site, no hammer, no chisel, no iron tool is ever heard. Every stone arrives already cut, a temple that rises in silence. On that site, one name keeps returning. Hiram, from Tyre, on the Phoenician coast, the son of a widow. The scriptures describe a man of rare skill. He works bronze. He casts the 2 great pillars at the entrance. But read closely, he is never called an architect. For nearly 25 centuries, no one tells of a murder. No manuscript, no chronicle. Then, in the early 18th century, in England, in the first Masonic lodges, a story appears, complete, detailed, devastating, and no one knows exactly who wrote it. Here is what it tells. Hiram Abiff holds a knowledge. The proportions, the numbers, the right gesture, what turns raw matter into a perfect work. 3 craftsmen want that knowledge. They don't want to learn it. They want to take it. They wait for him at the gates of the temple. The 3rd blow is the last. They bury the body in haste on a hill and plant a sprig of acacia to find the place again. It is that branch that will betray them. Even today, behind closed doors, men act it out. And to become a master, each one agrees for one night to die. In Freemasonry, there are 3 degrees: apprentice, fellow, master. And the passage to master is like no lesson. No one explains the legend of Hiram. They make you live it. The candidate does not come to hear the story of a murdered man. He comes, for the space of a ceremony, to become that man. The moment has a name, the raising. As if to rise, you first had to fall. He is led into a place called the middle chamber. It is not a meeting room, it is a tomb. At its center, a coffin, draped in a cloth strewn with skulls and tears. At its head, a square. At its feet, an open compass. In one corner, a sprig of acacia. Around it, the masters keep silent. The room is in mourning. One thing alone stays lit, behind a veil, a star. The light has not gone out. It has only been hidden. Then the legend is played out. 3 craftsmen want Hiram's secret. The first strikes him with a rule across the throat. He holds. The second with a lever to the neck. He holds still. The third raises a maul and strikes him on the forehead. This time, Hiram falls. And at that instant, in the room, it is the candidate who lies on the ground. For a man does not rise alone from a death like this. It takes 3 presences together. And a grip the tradition calls the 5 points of mastery. Only then does the body straighten. The veil parts, the light returns. And they say the master reappears as radiant as ever. But something is missing. For Hiram died, carrying his secret. The true word of the master is lost. So the right does something strange and deeply honest. It does not pretend to have found it again. Instead, into the new master's ear, another word is whispered. A word of replacement. An entire tradition, built around a secret that no longer exists. So why? Why do men, today, agree to act out their own death for an architect we cannot even prove existed? Perhaps because this ritual is not about Hiram. It is about the one who passes through it. It says you become no one without letting a part of yourself die. And that the most powerful secrets are not the ones we keep, but the ones humanity is still searching for.